Hi, this is Simon Dad here. I'm going to do a video on mirroring and future faking. Those are two things that I've touched on in previous videos, but I wanted to do a video exclusively on those because they're two important aspects that people need to be aware of when dealing with a narcissist or trying to extricate themselves from the fog of a narcissist relationship. I'll start with mirroring. In the honeymoon slash love bombing phase, the narcissist is the most wonderful person you've ever met in your life. You guys are soulmates, star-crossed lovers. It's a miracle that the two of you met. It's amazing. Something that me and my ex would say a lot is, I never thought a person like you even existed, let alone that I would meet them. And the fact that they would fall in love with me is just unbelievable. I'm the luckiest person in the world. And so mirroring is another tool in the narcissist toolbox. And it's basically what it sounds like they're doing. So if I am in a new relationship with a narcissist or dating a narcissist, and they decide to start mirroring me, we would have conversations like, I would say, "Oh yeah, I'm such a nerd. I really like to go to Comic-Con." And they would say, "Oh my gosh, I'm a nerd too. I used to collect comic books, when I was in high school, but my mom found them and she didn't like them, so she just threw them in the trash without knowing how much they meant to me. But I would love to go to Comic-Con. I've never been there." Or you say, "Oh, I love melodic house music," and they would say, "Oh my gosh, I love melodic house music. That's so amazing. Not that many people are into that genre. And it's so amazing that the two of us would meet when we both love melodic house so much." A real life example would be, it's always been a dream of mine to start a band and make music. Oh my gosh, that has been a lifelong dream of mine too. We should work on forming a band and living out this dream that we've both had. And, I love camping. Oh my gosh, I love camping too. That's something I've always wanted to do because my family, we did it a couple times and it was just miserable, but I'd love to do it again and give it a new chance because I think it would be a lot of fun. So I hope you can see the pattern. The reason that the narcissist is your soulmate, star-crossed lovers, why you two are one in a million, that the two of you met, and you find yourself saying things like, "I never knew a person like you even existed, let alone that I would be lucky enough to meet them." The reason that you're having that experience and saying those things is because they're pretending, so to speak. The narcissist has their mask, and they are actively learning what you find most attractive during the love bombing phase. And as you tell them things about what you find attractive, what your dreams are, your temperament, your sense of humor, your television shows, your movies, the foods you like, go down the whole list. They're basically taking that and just mirroring it right back to you. They say, "Oh my God, you love Star Wars more than Star Trek?" I've always been the same way. I've always preferred Star Wars to Star Trek. The hero with 1,000 faces, the hero's journey. That means so much more to me than kind of the the perspective that the Star Trek episodes have with like approaching real world issues. I mean, that's valid and it's very interesting, but I prefer kind of the great grand storytelling and the story arcs of Star Wars. So, if you've been with a narcissist, I assume that this type of thing sounds familiar, where it's just like the whole time you're like, oh my God, am I dreaming? Pinch me. I can't believe that I met someone so perfect for me. This is absolutely amazing. I am so lucky. This is a dream come true. This is, I don't believe in soulmates, but this is my soulmate. And that's kind of the experience that you're having. Because they're mirroring. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, I haven't really dug deep into it, but it's like, okay, what's at the core of the narcissist personality wise? I don't know. As far as I know, maybe they don't have much of one. Maybe they just, create this mask and kind of go with whoever their main source of supply is at the time, whether that be a person or maybe a friend group. So the whole time you're telling them these things, they are just creating the mask. And one thing I just want to throw in there that you may notice with narcissists is that while you're giving them all this information, they're not giving them a lot back. It might be something where every 10 things you tell them that you like or you care about, they might throw out one. Or it might be for every 100 things you tell them, they throw out one. The narcissist is very good at mirroring the things that you like and are attracted to. But like who they are and things that really shape them or that are important to them, they keep really close to the chest. So I just wanted to mention that. How that overlaps with future faking is that in that honeymoon period where the narcissist is mirroring you and saying like, oh my gosh, I have always wanted to be in a band, and that would be great. Oh my God, I'd love to go camping. That with these statements, they're deliberately painting a picture in your mind of the future. And so if you guys are talking, they'll talk about hey, when are we going to practice music again? Let's focus on the band, and that'll be so much fun when we perform live. Or they might say, hey, let's go camping. What are some good places to go camping? Let's look at camping sites and pick out some good places to reserve lots. Or they might take it even farther. And this is kind of what happened with me and my ex in our relationship, is that the current relationship was so pointless for me. Not fun, not fulfilling, just garbage. Like the last year, I just felt like I was dragging a cinder block behind me. That during that period of time, she would use future faking, one, to, grab my attention, but two, to point my attention into the future. So if I was upset or just brooding about how crappy things were in the moment, she might say, hey, it's going to be so nice when we're married. Our marriage is going to be amazing. I'm thinking about different places that we can have our reception. And, when we have our first dance, we're going to play this specific song by V&V Nation because it has a deep meaning for the two of us. And, when we honeymoon, we're going to honeymoon in Europe. And maybe at some point we'll go to Egypt and look at the pyramids. And so it was a way to just get me mentally into this future. But the reason it's called future faking is that future never happens. The whole time the narcissist is saying these things, they're just manipulating you. As I've done in a previous video, I've discussed how narcissists have a really warped sense of time. And that seems to be really common among narcissists, where they live very much in the moment. And so they might be able to plan out a week, maybe a month. But if you say, and this is one of the things that I thought was interesting, and one of those like red flags that you just totally miss because you never think to look for this. So for 4 years, when I would be with my ex-girlfriend, even through like the dating process or dating period, I would always ask her, okay, hey, where do you want to be in 1 year? Where do you want to be in 5 years? Where do you want to be in 10 years? Like, what do you want to be doing day to day? What do you want to have achieved? What goals do you still want to be working on at that point? Because to me, that like 1 year, 5 year, 10-year plan is a great way for me to gain insight into a person and kind of like who they are, what's important to them, and also like how do they view like the work to accomplish their goals. She couldn't answer me. Forget 10 years and 5 years down the line. 1 year ahead from now, just blank. She was incapable of even considering the question to answer it. And it was very confusing to me. And we went back and forth, and she explained, rightly or wrongly, truthfully or falsely, but basically she said that to her, the future is like Narnia, or Middle Earth. The future is this fantasy, like it doesn't actually exist. There's no weight or solid mass to it. And so in her mind, it was just pointless to even have those thoughts in your head. It's like, no, right now, this is real. This is the moment I'm living in. This is all that exists. This is all that matters. And, that's fine, but at the same time, it's not like the two concepts cancel each other out. You can live in the moment and still say, okay, in a year, I want to have this job, and I want to, have accomplished a, 25-minute 5K or, something like that. And for her, it was just impossible for her to conceive. And so, again, where I'm going with that is that, so you have to understand, like, when the narcissist starts talking about the future, about marriage, you guys living in a house, you guys, going on your honeymoon, you need to remember that the narcissist is basically incapable of thinking about the future. So if they're telling you about the future, they're manipulating you. They are saying what they think you want to hear, period. And that's it. And so, that was something that I experienced through, all 4 years of the relationship. But again, going back to, mirroring, that's kind of where it overlapped in the love bombing honeymoon phase, where in addition to mirroring like your likes and dislikes, if you had future plans, the narcissist would mirror those and say, oh, yeah, I want to be in a band. I want to perform live. I want to go to Europe. Yeah. Just everything you say as far as like a future goal or a future like bucket list item, they'll be right there with you. And again, and this is something, if I can go, dark for a second here. This is one of the things that makes grieving the end of the relationship with the narcissist so difficult, is that you're always left with what if. What if we were able to have that wedding? What if we were able to have that dance? What if we were able to go to Europe? What if we were able to live in that house on acreage and have a garden? What if we were able to grow old together? What if we were able to sit on a porch swing and watch the fireflies dance in the bushes at dusk as we grew old? And part of you knows that those were all lies, all of it. And it was just a trick for the narcissist to get their hooks into you, but they had no intention of experiencing any of those or making any of those dreams happen in the future. And that's why grieving the end of the narcissistic relationship is just that much harder, is because you're not just grieving the relationship, you're grieving what could have been. So hopefully this video's been helpful. Thanks.